Financial economist Professor Lord Mensah pushes for strategic investors to take over National Investment Bank rather than ADB. And Bloomberg warns Ghana could record its lowest cocoa harvest in 13 years due to bad weather and outbreak of swollen shoot virus disease in the 2022-2023 crop season. Also, Economist Intelligence Unit warns Ghana and some other African countries that headline inflation will remain high, fueling discontent in 2023 and 2024. My name is Elikem Aku Kunkwe. Let's settle for details. Financial economist Professor Lord Mensah is making a strong case for NIB to be taken over by a strategic investor rather than ADB. This was after it emerged that government is considering financing ADB to take over NIB. But Professor Mensah maintains that with government's current financial position, it's not a good idea to support ADB to take over NIB.
If the market assumes and perceives that government is desperate, to move these two banks together, in a way for them to survive, it can have negative impact on the market perception and investor confidence. You end up going out there to look for money because of the weakness in their integration. So there are several things that needs to be taken into consideration. But from why, this needs to be relooked at. It will be better to get a private investor to put in money so that the financial architecture of the two banks will stay the same to serve, that kind of, social purpose. You need to understand that, the existence of bank goes beyond the financial benefit that possibly with our, economic situation the government is looking at. We have to look at the social benefit as well. So when the social benefit outweighs the economic and the financial for a government bank, I think it's serving its purpose. So let's look at all these things before that decision is.
That is Professor Lord Mensah, who is a financial economist. Now, Ghana Cocoa Board has announced that the 2023-2024 cocoa crop season will start from this week, September 8th, as against the initial date of October 1. The decision was taken due to the recent disruption in the internal marketing of cocoa, as well as to safeguard the interest of cocoa farmers. Bloomberg has also warned that the country could record its worst harvest in 13 years. There's more in the following report.
Already, Ghana is said to have missed the production targets set for the 2022-2023 crop season due to bad weather and the outbreak of swollen shoot virus disease in top-growing cocoa regions, including the Western North. According to Bloomberg, the country could make its lowest harvest in 13 years, a development that could affect income from the export of the commodity. The Ghana Cocoa Board has in recent times struggled to fulfill some cocoa contracts, forcing Cocoa Board to postpone the supply of about 44,000 metric tons of cocoa beans for future harvest. It is expected that government will on Friday announce pragmatic measures to address the challenges in the sector, including smuggling.
That was a News Desk report. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says government is working to raise $1 billion funding to support the Bank of Ghana's balance of payment by the end of the year. The move, according to him, will address issues confronting the central bank and the banking sector at large. Mr. Ofori-Atta said his outfit is working to meet all the requirements necessary for the release of the second tranche of the IMF funds. He was speaking at the Ghana Investments Promotion Center CEO's breakfast meeting.
50% depreciation, ended the year at 30%, and then this year relative stability. I think January was about 20, but between February to now about 1.8 to 2%, so a sense of stability. And then we have to also somehow harness restrain inflation, which is where the central bank comes in, and then you begin to see.
That was Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. The Economist Intelligence Unit is warning Ghana and some other African countries that headline inflation will remain high, fueling public discontent in 2023 and 2024. In its Africa's operational risk outlook, the UK-based firm said the elevated headline inflation would be driven by high global commodity and food prices, local currency weakness against the US dollar, amongst others. Here's more.
The report said inflation continues to run high as subsidy regimes buckle under the fiscal strain. This will fuel public dissatisfaction over worsening living conditions and could manifest itself in the form of frustration against affluent foreigners and attacks on private property. Additionally, a continued sharp rise in price growth could result in a decline in living standards and an increase in public frustration as wages have not risen as quickly as inflation across the region. This makes it harder for poorer households to purchase basic staples. ERU furthered that the situation is crucial against a backdrop of entrenched widespread poverty and high unemployment across most parts of Africa. It added that protests could push workers employed by large manufacturers to coordinate large-scale strikes to demand salary increases.
That was a Business Desk report. The uncertainty surrounding the debt restructuring program for Ghana's foreign investors could impact on the country's international inflow, affecting the strength of the local currency. This is the view of economist Professor Peter Korte. According to him, although talks are ongoing for the external debt restructuring, government is yet to reach an agreement with the investors. Professor Korte expressed worry that delays could affect funds coming into the country.
It's very uncertain to what extent the foreign creditors are going to allow a haircut. What are they going to forgive us and what are they going to ask us to pay? But I'm hoping on the balance of it all that we'll be able to afford and pay and have some stability. With the IMF program on board, I believe other creditors, other donors will come on board as well. But the World Bank and others have shown commitment to supporting Ghana once we get onto the program. So the inflows will come, but we also certainly have to service the debt as well. With a haircut, with some debt forgiveness or restructuring, I'm sure we'll be able to manage the rate of depreciation.
Players in the real estate sector have appealed to financial institutions to support Ghanaian developers to help them compete with foreign companies operating in the industry. According to them, most investors are quick to help foreign companies, neglecting the efforts of Ghanaian real estate players. The Chief Executive Officer of Agazi Homes, Thomas Ayisa, made the appeal after he won the ultimate prize at the 7th edition of the 40 Under 40 Awards.
For real estate business in Ghana, I can say it's 50% okay and 50% not okay. Why? Because all the big men or the Ghanaian men think of supporting the foreign investors than the local investments. Therefore, I say our old men who you are calling 60 years, 70 years, 80 years to be ungrateful. They are not helping the young guys to grow up.
That was Thomas Ayisa, Chief Executive Officer of Agazi Homes. Entrepreneurs have been entreated to devise a strategy in adapting to changes in their business environment. This is according to the founder of investments firm Done by Us Ghana, Kin A. Wellington. He explains that entrepreneurs should take keen interest in capacity building to support their operations. He spoke to Joy Business at a pitching competition dubbed African Street MBA Accelerator Program.
Now, African Street MBA seeks to empower young businesses, entrepreneurs from poor background and those with low education, give them opportunity by deepening their knowledge when it comes to business management. And of course, that's why you see the name has street in there.
Ken A. Wellington is the founder of investments firm Done by Us Ghana. For your pension tip on Money Lab, let's now hear from Kofi Poli, Chief Operations Officer of People's Pension Trust, as he continues to share tips on how to effectively monitor your pension contributions.
Hello and welcome to Money Lab. My name is Kofi Poli, Chief Operations Officer of People's Pension Trust. We are still on our pension tidbits on Money Lab. Today, we are going to give tidbits on how to continuously monitor your pension plan. One of the things you want to do and it's very key, is to ensure that you have been registered under the scheme. So for example, if it is tier 2, you must make sure that again you have been registered under the scheme. Please don't wait for the corporate trustee to bring you your statement. Quarterly, or even if you come monthly, go check your statement. But that is where you notice that there are gaps in it or everything is fine. The important thing that you must ensure that there are no gaps in it, and don't forget that this could take about between 15, 20, 30 years for you to be paid your accrued benefits. And therefore, where there are gaps, at that stage, it becomes very tedious and cumbersome to get your accrued benefits. Thank you once again for joining us.
That brings us to the end of the bulletin. Now, the EcoBank salary account is a special account designed for workers of all income brackets desirous of receiving their salaries through EcoBank. With the EcoBank salary account, you are guaranteed all the benefits of a normal savings or current account, plus many more. EcoBank salary account gives workers free life insurance cover of up to 10,000 Ghana cedis, 24/7 access to cash and e-banking services, internet and mobile banking services, high interest on savings, no minimum balance, ability to save through the EcoBank Save As You Spend, a unique feature that helps customers to save and invest. Remember, the insurance policy covers death, permanent or temporary disability, critical illness, hospitalization, retrenchment, and more. Savings or current account holders at EcoBank do not have to close their existing accounts to enjoy the numerous benefits of EcoBank salary account. Just ask your branch to switch your existing account to the EcoBank salary account. Non-EcoBank account holders should approach any EcoBank branch and ask for the EcoBank salary account. Switch your salary account today and enjoy amazing benefits at EcoBank. Call EcoBank toll free on 0800 003225 wherever for further details. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Ignition is next. Do enjoy.